The most influential person in my life was my mother. Her name is Lana Poulsen. She was born November 7th, 1948 in Edmonton. She passed away May 12th, 2011 at the age of 63. She had 7 children. I was 6 of 7. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. I was the tiebreaker. I'm the youngest daughter. My mother had me when she was 39, almost 40 years old. And then she had my little brother at 42. So she had a lot of kids. Different generations, right? So, like, my oldest sister is 18 years older than me. My oldest brother is 20 years older than me. To the day. His birthday is the 20th of February, 1968. And mine is the 19th of February, 1988. I do not talk to my oldest brother. He assaulted me and my sister and a bunch of people in our family. He is sick, paranoid schizophrenic, but that does not excuse pedophile behavior. I do not talk to him. I will never talk to him. Personally, like, violence is my thought when I think of my brother, so I don't like him. You know? You should know fuck. You're fucking 20 years old. Or 23 years old. You should know better. You know what I mean? Who cares if you have mental illness? A lot of us are mentally ill, and we don't do that kind of stuff. You know? That's a mental illness within itself. It's fucked. Anyways, my mother, beautiful person, gentle. Her dad was actually drafted to be I didn't notice those were out, to be a hockey player for the NHL. And because he got my grandmother pregnant, he wasn't able to go live that life. You know, this is before you actually made money doing it. It was more of a dream, like a hobby, than it was a career, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you got paid back then. But it wasn't like you did today. So he wasn't able to do that. He ended up becoming a GM partsman for General Motors, and they forced him to retire in 2008 when the stock market crashed. And because of the stock market crash and them going into receivership, they also took his pension as well. So, all of that hard work gone. Stolen from him. It's pretty fucked up, you know what I mean? Having to do something like that. You would think that fiat would come and, help the people in that situation, but business is business, right? Because of that, he was very abusive and resentful towards my mother, hit my grandmother, and my grandmother divorced him, which was very unfashionable back in the day. You didn't divorce your husband. But my grandma, she was a trendsetter. She did what the fuck she wanted, and she didn't put up with shit. So she left my grandfather, and I don't blame her for doing that. And she became a telecommunications career. That's what she did. She worked as a operator, so you know those, like, the plugs? She would move the plugs from one thing to another so that she was able to talk on the phone. She was an operator for a long time. You know, the one that you called and said, hey, can I have a collect call to this person? That's who my grandmother was. And she did that for a long time. She worked for BC Tel. I don't know if she worked for Alberta, but I know she worked for British Columbia for a long time. And she retired, and she lived in Duncan until she got back together with my grandfather later in life when he calmed down. And they both lived together and passed away in Edmonton a couple of months apart from each other. My grandmother died of kidney failure because she stopped drinking water because the dementia was so advanced. That happened to her. And then my grandfather died of kidney cancer a little bit later. I think he died of a broken heart. It was a couple of months later. I think he died of a broken heart and gave up and let things take over his body. But that is the truth. And my mother, she died before them, actually. So she was a very lovely lady. Very gentle, very smart. I get my intelligence from her, for sure. Extremely intellectual. Could read a book in a day. She's who I went to have deep conversations. We could talk about things that were beyond the usual topic of conversation. We went deep, philosophical. Like, she's the one who helped me when I finally realized that life is not permanent. That was really intense, actually, once I realized that life is not permanent. That fucked me up a lot. I was sitting on the bus one day. I had S to J, and I was feeling a little bit philosophical, cosmic, and I was thinking about life, and I was thinking about dying, and then I really thought about dying, and all of a sudden I had this like fucking woof feeling in my body of intense fear. And I went home and I cried, and my mom's like, this doesn't happen to people usually until they're in their 50s. Like, what's going on? Like, you shouldn't be thinking this way. Everybody dies. And I just cried in her arms for hours. And I developed an intense fear of death. And you know how I got over it? I went to a graveyard and I sat there and I would read all of the stones. And I sat with dead people in order to expose myself to death. And exposure therapy, it actually really worked. Today I no longer fear death because I have died before, and I know there's something on the other side. I know that death isn't the end, and it's something that it happens, right? It's part of life, and it'll happen to everybody. I face death a lot with my fentanyl addiction, so it's something that I don't fear. It's something that I embrace, honestly. Like, life can be a lot. So to be able to go somewhere where time doesn't exist and things are light and fifth dimensional, like, I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to it. But my mother, she taught me how to love. She taught me to read the Bible, Corinthians. For a lot of years, I didn't believe in Jesus. But I believe in the core tenets of Jesus now, not necessarily like organized religion, but treat others how you want to be treated. The Spirit of God is within you, and you have the powers that He has, as long as you can believe and have the faith and believe hard enough. You are an extension of God. He was an extension of God. We are all sons and daughters of God. We are all pieces of Source experiencing life. That's how it works. Think of it as like a giant pyramid scheme, right? God's here at the top, the highest dimension, and then there's all these different layers. We're down here in the third dimension. So think about it. There's 2 other dimensions that are below us. And I've experienced those before, and they're thick and dense and hard and painful and slow. Hell is like the second dimension, slow and hard to walk through. Time crawls. A minute feels like 1,000 years. It's not good. So that's why I live my life in faith, higher vibration, higher resonance, kindness, compassion, honesty. I'll talk about that in a second. I'm getting a little far, but yeah, honesty.